what happens with most of us is that we are not taking deliberate action. We've learned how to do things a certain way, and unless you are paying attention to what needs to change, then change cannot happen. So unless we are aware of, for example, let's take a really easy example. If I'm used to combing my hair a certain way, if I get up in the morning and every day I brush my teeth, I do it a certain way. We all have a pattern. So next time, tomorrow, when you brush your teeth, pay attention to what you're doing. You always do it the same way. If you brush this way first, then this way, you will always brush here first and then go here. Everyone has a pattern. Once the pattern is established, it does not require your mental presence. If you brush your hair a certain way, you brush your teeth a certain way, every day you do it that exact same way without actually deliberately thinking, oh, should I brush here first? You don't think that way. You just go and do it. Why? Because it has become a habit. It is fixed and no longer requires your deliberation, your thinking about should I do it this way or not. It does not require any decision making. That is the shift. When something becomes a habit, it does not require any more decision making. Somebody put that in the chat. Dolores Lana, good morning, good to see you. Samuel, good morning, good to see you. When something becomes a habit, it does not require a deliberate decision anymore. That's the key. All habits, so we've got to do something consciously over and over again, like brushing our teeth. We do it consciously a couple of times, then we no longer need to make a decision about how to brush. It becomes a habit. If you've ever observed a child who is tying his or her shoelaces for the very first time, they are totally focused on that. Do you focus on it? Do you have to make a decision? How much should the string be on this side? How big should this bow be so that this bow can be an equal size? Do you remember when you were learning first how to tie a bow? You used to think about all of those things. You used to have to think about how long the string should be on this side, how long the shoelace should be on this side, and then you used to make a decision about it. And now you don't think about it anymore. So in the formation of a process, a procedure, we make deliberate decisions. We pay attention to decide how to tie that bow, how to brush our teeth. But once we have made those decisions, now we can do it over and over again because decision making is no longer required. That is what a habit is. When something becomes a habit, decision making is not required. So when I had anger issues, if somebody bothered me, I shouted at them. I no longer needed to make a decision that I was going to shout at them. I had made that decision once, I had practiced it, it was now learned, and it was a habit. I would shout. So when it came time for me to gain control over my anger, I had to make a new set of decisions. I had to deliberately stop before taking action and make a new decision. And the new decision I made was, I want to be high on the emotional scale, and shouting is not going to help me be high on the emotional scale. It is going to take me down the emotional scale. So I changed the decision, and changing the decision created a new pathway. You know, in the book Thrive, I talk about pathways and highways. Pathway of thought. Once you create a new pathway, if you keep traveling on that path, it becomes a highway. When it becomes a highway, you're not making any more deliberate decisions. It is an established route for you to take. So when we learn about these new principles that have to do with manifesting and the law of attraction, we have to pay attention in order to make new decisions. If you do not stop and make new decisions about how you are going to think and process in here, then your outward action, your physical action, the words that you offer, the action that you take will not change, because it will keep following the previous decisions that were made and that became a habit. And this is why forming a new habit is so much easier. If there was something that you didn't already have a habit about, forming a new habit would be so much easier than changing a habit that you've already got. Try it. You will all relate to it. We all sleep a certain way. There is a body position that you feel the most comfortable in, which helps you to fall asleep. Try making a deliberate decision to change it, and for many nights you will be sleepless. You won't be able to sleep. Why? Because you have adopted a habit. Changing a habit is so much harder than creating a habit the first time. And so the very first thing is awareness that I need to change something. If you are not aware that you need to change something, then you will never make a new decision. And if you never make a new decision, then nothing will change. And this is what happens in our attitude towards people. We don't make new decisions about how we want to behave, so nothing changes. In our habit that has to do with manifesting more abundance in our life, whether it be about our finances or it be about any other subject, may it be about health, having better health, having a better more confident attitude, whatever it may be, you've got to make new decisions in order for it to change. The way we handle our health is a habit. In order for you to change the way you look after your body is a habit. You've got to make new decisions about how you're going to eat, how you're going to sleep, how you're going to exercise, what your food portions are going to be, what your beliefs are going to be. Are your beliefs about certain foods are decisions that you've made about that food. This thing tastes good. This thing is good for me. All of those are decisions that you've made. And unless you change those decisions, nothing can change. So in order to make new habits, I heard someone say, they said, it's easy to teach children something because they have not made up their minds about it. It is hard to change older people to, it's harder for older people to make up their minds because they have to change their mind, not make up their mind. Children make up their mind. You tell them to do it a certain way and you tell them this is the right way to do it. They make up their mind to do it that way because they don't have any programming that they've got to make decisions to get rid of. So it's easy to teach a child. That's where the proverb comes from. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, because that means rewiring, reprogramming. And reprogramming is way harder than learning how to do it the first time. So just pay attention and everything will work out okay. All right, guys. It's a lot of momentum for older people, absolutely, Samuel, because doing it over and over again the same way involves thinking about it the same way. And if you do the same thing, think about it the same way every single time, you are adding momentum. Creating new momentum takes effort. Once you have it going, then it becomes your habit. So many people in this group have been doing the 4-step process for a very long time. It is now a habit, so it has momentum. Habits are things we do over and over again with momentum, because we made a decision the first time and we are making that decision again and again until it becomes a habit, and now decision making is no longer required. That's when it becomes autopilot.